Hello, and it's the Warpforge with another Arkham Files for you all. Today we're going to be starting on the sidekicks, and the first one is the classic costume of Harley Quinn, as it says on the card. So, if you open up the card, we know what everything is. So I'm just going to take you through the names and stuff. It's 2 plus 2, simple maths really. Her name is Dr. Harley Quinzel. Her alias is Harley Quinn. She's a sidekick ranker, and she's the affiliate to the Joker gang. So obviously, 2 and 2, if you manage to, unfortunately, get confused and have your head stuck in a blender, well, then something's went horribly wrong. So, we'll go on to a stat line. Now, a stat line, strength 5 up, not too good for a sidekick, but it's really down to a mallet, really. Her willpower is 6, so average for a psychic free agent kind of thing. Her movement's 4, so she's speedy. She can get places in complementary with her personal traits as well. Her attack and defenses are 4, so that's just above average for a psychic and a free agent. So usually it's either defense 3 for one or the other stat for an average, but both are above that, so that's pretty good in my opinion. Her attack is, her endurance is 7, so roundabout average for a sidekick or a free agent, and her special is 3, which is standard all round. I've never seen a model with a special stat being higher or lower base off the special stat line. So that's a stat line, all in all, just above average for a sidekick. So we'll go on her personal traits. Personal trait, first one's discouraged. So for 2 action counters, as long as the target's within line of sight, factoring in the line of sight with 30 centimeters and under the effect of light and stuff, because this doesn't have a range. So for 2 special counters, you can minus your opponent's willpower by 2, which is huge, especially on henchmen and especially on free agents. It whittles them down, it cripples them. Her second trait is True Love Joker. So if Joker is ever dead or killed as a casualty, then Harley gets +1 willpower. So I suppose that's her being enraged because now we're putting 6 feet under, which I guess is the real joke here. She has Acrobat. Her basic movement distance is 12 centimeters. And she can just fly through and sprint through small obstacles like chairs, this little phone box here, fences, small barricades, etc., etc. She has Distract, so for 1 special counter, she can -1 defense on an opponent's model, so defense 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 2 to 1, etc., etc. She has Fast, which is directly complemented with movement of 4, so technically you can sprint 24 inches for a movement of special, and then roll 3d6, and if you don't like any of the dice results, you can re-roll them once. So if you've got 2 6s and 2, you can re-roll that one for the third result, and potentially get another 6. So that's a lot of movement. She has 360 strike with mallet, so for 1 attack counter and 1 special counter, she can, within 3 centimeters, can attack all enemy models, all friend and foe models within 3 centimeters of her because her mallet has reach, which complements her weapon, the mallet, as we'll go to in a bit. In addition, I would like to point out as well is once you've attacked this 360 strike with mallet, you can attack normally after that. So again, I'll go into that after I've went into the mallet. Her last trait is Affinity to Poison Ivy. So if you want the Gotham Sirens, you can plonk this one with Poison Ivy's gang, as well as plonk Catwoman with Poison Ivy. So if you want the Gotham Sirens, that's a good place to start. She doesn't have any special traits. Her reputation is 75, and she costs 0 funding, so that's very nice. Not exactly cheap, but not exactly too expensive. So what's a weapon? Her weapon is a mallet. It does 2 stun damage. It doesn't have any rate of fire ammo because it's a melee weapon. And her special for the mallet is reach. So again, anything within 3 centimeters she can strike. It has heavy, so adds +1 strength to her strength profile, so from 5 up to 4 up. So that's pretty good. And push is the real thing here. So, remember when I was talking about 360 strike with the mallet? Well, what will happen here is you'll fly her up, strike with the mallet, do 360 strike, push. Now, depending on what the situation is, most likely you're going to want her near opponent's objectives, push them away from that objective, draw one of them in, because what push does is you roll to damage. Once you successfully damage, the henchman that's been successfully damaged can be moved in your direction if you're controlling Harley by the amount of centimeters movement by the amount of how much you've rolled for the cardinal damage dice. So if you've managed to successfully damage, say, 3 henchmen and you've rolled a 4 for the cardinal damage dice, you can move the 3 henchmen 4 centimeters anywhere you choose. So you can push 2 away from an objective, push 1 away from another objective and closer to Harley, where she can then attack normally after the 360 strike with the mallet, with potentially up to 3 more attacks. So technically for 4 attacks, include a special counter for the 360 strike, you can get 2, 4, 6, 8 damage, 8 stun damage on 1 mini and 2 stun damage on other minis. So that's not bad. You reduce some willpower with 360 strike for 2 points of damage, and you're also bringing more for more hurt. So what is Harley's main strength and role within her gang? Discourage and distract tell it all, really. Her speed gets her there. She cripples an opponent. As long as you've got henchmen around, the henchmen go in and attack the clowns. And axes and bats and chains and knives and shields and whatever you call it, chainsaws even. They're gonna love Harley for that. Cup of tea, it's always nice. So that's her main strength. You can use her as a boss, obviously, because she's a sidekick, and that she can complement with Mr. Hammer, and vice versa if Mr. Hammer's the boss and stuff. She can give Inspire if she's a boss. So again, I would say if you want to use her as a boss, I would recommend using Mr. Hammer and keeping her as a sidekick, because she's already very greedy on the special counters for Distract and Discourage. She wants to be crippling opponents' minis so that you can send in the clowns wave after wave, hitting them and hurting them really badly. So how does she complement Mr. Hammer? Well, Mr. Hammer can go in with brute force, and Harley can cripple an opponent before Hammer goes in with brute force. That's insanely huge on Mr. Hammer. But that's how I would run it, personally. I mean, you might want Harley and then use some free agents at your disposal. That's quite nice. It's quite an effective way as well, because with Harley, you won't be getting Chaos Agent or Trickster or whatever, any of that. So you have a lot more flexibility to go into free agents and maybe other psychics like Mr. Hammer and stuff. Aside from that, now her weaknesses. Her weaknesses, she doesn't like damage. She's got a healthy defense of 4, but she can get hurt, she can be crippled, she can be really hurt, and she doesn't like damage. Endurance 7's okay, but she can get hurt and she doesn't like damage. And as soon as she takes damage, willpower goes less. Willpower 6 is good for a sidekick, but that will get worse the more she takes damage. So you're going to have clowns around her all the time. Like I say, Mr. Hammer's a good bodyguard for her, but be aware that Mr. Hammer won't be able to catch up with her if you go all out on a movement. He will just be staying back and maybe even supporting henchmen if you use all your movement counters in the early game turns, so first 2 rounds of the game. So that's her weaknesses. All in all, she's a very good sidekick for Joker. She literally just flies up there, distracts, discourages, sees what the clowns do, whatever happens in the next turn. If it seems to go sour for the clowns, she can spend a few counters doing either discourage or distract, and then go in with the mallet and just swing and hurt. So again, she's also good as a bowling ball to a load of pins on enemies that are on objectives. So she can fly up to an objective, with a load of enemies around it. 360 mallet strike, as I've discussed earlier. Push them away, bring one of them closer, knock one out, go to another one, knock another out, go to the third one, knock her out. She has a healthy defensive 4, which shouldn't be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination. It's healthy, but she can get damaged, and if she gets damaged, she's not going to like that one bit. And that is Dr. Harley Quinzel, the Harley Quinn of the classic costume. If you liked what you heard and you liked what you saw in this video, then please give this channel a subscribe to see more updates on the Joker's gang. If you want to talk about anything, down below, and if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to talk about anything or how Harley has worked for you in the past, please comment below. I like talking to everyone about Batman, so please comment below and enjoy. If you've got a friend who's seriously considering picking this model up, please share this video. I'm pretty sure this will be good start foundations for your friend into knowing how she works. So that is all I can really say. Thank you for watching. This is the Warp Forge signing out, and remember, keep on forging.